the CEO had never been ignored in her life. People stood when she entered a room. Executives waited for her approval. Even strangers seemed nervous around her. But that morning, standing outside a downtown office building with a dead phone, no driver, and one desperate call to make, she turned to the last person she expected to help her, a single dad sitting alone on a bench. She borrowed his phone for just one call. But when the chairman answered and asked, "Whose phone are you calling from?" the CEO looked down at the name saved in the man's contacts. Her face went completely pale. Before we begin, take a moment to subscribe to Heartline Stories, like this video, and comment below with the kindest thing someone has ever done for you. Sometimes, one small act of kindness can change a life in ways we never expect. It was 8:15 on a cold Monday morning in Chicago. Emma Carter, CEO of Carter & Wells, stood outside her company's headquarters staring at her phone. The screen was black. Dead. Her charger was sitting on her desk, 25 floors above her. Normally, this would have been a small inconvenience. But today was different. Emma had an emergency board meeting in less than 30 minutes. The company's chairman, Richard Hayes, was about to make a decision that could determine the future of hundreds of employees. Emma needed to reach him immediately. She tried the building's front desk phone, but the receptionist was dealing with a long line of visitors. "Can I borrow your phone?" Emma asked a security guard. He shook his head apologetically. "I'm sorry, ma'am. Company policy." Emma sighed and stepped outside again. Then she noticed a man sitting on a bench near the entrance. He looked tired. He wore an old gray jacket, work boots, and jeans that had clearly seen better days. Beside him sat a small boy, maybe 7 years old, eating a peanut butter sandwich from a plastic bag. The man was looking at a piece of paper while his son quietly leaned against his shoulder. Emma almost walked past them. Then she stopped. "Excuse me," she said. "I'm sorry to bother you, but could I borrow your phone for one quick call?" The man looked up. "Sure." He immediately handed it to her. No questions. No hesitation. Emma was surprised. "Thank you. I really appreciate it." The man smiled. "Everybody needs help sometimes." Emma dialed a number from memory. The chairman answered on the second ring. "Emma? Where are you?" "I'm outside the building. My phone died." "Listen, we need to postpone the board meeting. There's something you need to know about the acquisition." Richard paused. "Whose phone are you calling from?" Emma looked at the screen. "I'll explain later." "No. Tell me now." Emma glanced at the man who had given her the phone. "It's a stranger's phone." There was silence on the other end. Then Richard asked quietly, "What name is saved under your number?" Emma looked down. The man's contact list was open. And there it was. Richard Hayes, chairman. Emma froze. She slowly looked at the man. The man looked back at her. His name was Daniel. The single father sitting on that bench was not a stranger to Richard Hayes. He was his son. Emma's voice became barely a whisper. "Daniel?" The man frowned. "Yes? Is your last name Hayes?" Daniel nodded. Emma felt the world suddenly become very quiet. She handed the phone back. "Your father is Richard Hayes." Daniel looked at the screen. "Yes." Emma stared at him. "I'm Emma Carter." Daniel's expression changed instantly. "You're the CEO?" Emma nodded. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Daniel gave a small laugh. "Well, this is awkward." Emma couldn't help smiling. But she noticed something else. The little boy was coughing. "Is he okay?" she asked. Daniel looked at his son. "Yeah. Just a cold. I'm taking him to the clinic after my job interview." "Job interview?" Daniel nodded. "I've been out of work for 3 months. Emma looked at his clothes again. Suddenly, everything made sense. Daniel wasn't sitting there because he was lazy. He was waiting for an opportunity. He had probably spent weeks applying for jobs while trying to take care of his son. Emma remembered the way he had handed her his phone without hesitation. He had nothing to gain from helping her. Yet he helped anyway. "Where's your interview?" she asked. "About 20 minutes away." Emma checked her watch. "You're going to be late." Daniel sighed. "I know." Emma looked toward the building. Then she smiled. "Come with me." Daniel blinked. "What?" "I want to hear your story." Daniel stood slowly. "Why?" Emma looked at him. "Because you helped me when you had no reason to." They walked inside together. Later that morning, Daniel's interview wasn't with some small company across town. It was with Carter and Wells. Emma discovered that Daniel had applied for a maintenance supervisor position. He had spent 12 years working in construction and building maintenance before losing his job when his previous company closed. During the interview, Emma asked him one question. "If you were given a chance to lead a team again, what would you do differently?" Daniel thought for a moment. "I'd remember that every person on the team is carrying something you can't see." Emma leaned back. "What do you mean?" "A worker who looks distracted might be worried about his kid. Someone who's late might be taking care of a sick parent. Someone who's angry might simply be exhausted." He paused. "People don't always need punishment. Sometimes they need someone to ask if they're okay." Emma felt those words hit harder than any business presentation she had heard that year. Daniel got the job. But that wasn't the biggest surprise. That afternoon, Emma called Richard Hayes. "You knew your son was struggling?" Richard sighed. "I knew he'd lost his job. But Daniel refused to take money from me." "Why didn't you help him?" "I tried." Emma looked through the glass wall of her office. Daniel was downstairs, helping his son color a picture while waiting for his first day paperwork. Richard continued. "He said he didn't need someone to rescue him. He needed someone to believe in him." Emma smiled. "I think he found that today." Months passed. Daniel became one of the most respected supervisors in the company. He treated janitors, executives, interns, and managers with exactly the same respect. And Emma changed too. She began walking through the company every morning instead of staying behind her office doors. She learned employees' names. She asked about their families. She listened. One afternoon, Emma found Daniel sitting with a young employee who looked upset. She smiled and walked away. Because she understood something now. Kindness doesn't always look like a grand donation or a life-changing speech. Sometimes kindness is simply handing someone your phone. Sometimes it's listening. Sometimes it's giving a tired father a chance. And sometimes, the person you help today becomes the reason your own life changes tomorrow. Daniel had helped a powerful CEO without knowing who she was. He didn't care about her title. He didn't care about money. He simply saw someone who needed help. And that small act of kindness opened a door neither of them expected. So remember this, you never know what someone is carrying behind their smile. You never know how far one kind word, one helping hand, or one simple act of compassion might travel. Be kind when you can. Help when you can. Because sometimes, the smallest kindness becomes the biggest turning point in someone's life.